Today we have with us Alok Trivedi, part of the Voice of the Young series. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Alok.
Hi, sir, and hi, everyone. My name is Alok Trivedi. So, I'm basically a machine learning engineer working at a startup. Uh, I'm responsible for building and designing machine learning algorithms, different architecture based on the problem. My background is I've done masters in computer science from IIT Kanpur, bachelor's from IIT Dhanbad. I enjoy reading books, listening to music. Yeah,
Okay, tell us more. What is it? What is machine learning? What do you do? I mean, look, for most of
sure,
us,
sure.
uh, you know,
So, so,
human learning is difficult. What is machine learning? Tell us.
so we have like this time around, we all know the hype around AI, right? Artificial intelligence. So it's a way to teach machine to learn stuff, right? Like uh, until 2000 or 2010, and machine learning was not much around us. We used to give instruction to machine. Machine used to know how to do stuff. They were not capable of thinking. They're not capable of making decision on their own. So they used to rely on human instruction to do basic stuff, right? You used to tell printer that print this thing, and printers has information coded in it that okay, this is how I should print things. What machine learning does that you show them a lot of example, and that's how they learn about stuff, right? So you want machine to learn about human faces, you want machine to recognize faces. What you do, you train machine with lot of human faces. You give them lot of information, human faces and a label or no label, and they will go in details. They will break down this human face into pixels, and they will apply some mathematical convolutions to it, convert everything into numbers, and make decision based on those numbers. So they will try to learn about everything, every detail of your face. And then when it comes to them making a decision, when you test the machine learning model with different images, then they will use their information that they have gathered earlier, and they will make decision based on that. So machine learning is a way to teach machine how to think, how to make decision, right? You can just rely on them for making decision. You can just ask them, okay, I've given you image, tell me about its feature, tell me about the identity of the image. I've given you two images, how do you find those two images different, and how do you know these two are different? The machine can tell you that these are different, and I've used this. Like you can tell them to use this metric to check the similarity or difference between these two images. They will tell you how different they are, and it largely depends on how do you teach them, the method that you use to teach them, what kind of material, the data that you use to teach them. It's largely depend on that. So machine learning basically requires a good machine learning engineer basically need to develop that intuition that for this problem statement, this kind of data I should use, this kind of method I should use to teach machine learning. It goes through multiple iteration of different type of trainings, and after a while you arrive at the conclusion that okay, my machine learning is capable of doing this type of task with this much accuracy, and I should rely on this, or I need to use a human in the loop to check how correct my machine learning model is, and over the time your machine learning model gets trained. So that's how it works. Like machine learning is basically teaching machine how to think, how to make decision. Yeah,
Okay, so can I say it like this, that in the old days, we used to give the rules to the machine, whether it is
yeah,
computer or printer. So this is the rule. If you get this code, you print this letter. Now we are saying, I'll give you examples. And from the examples, you derive the rules that you will follow. Right? So
yeah,
this is based on examples. When you say you teach, you say give you 10 examples, 15 examples, 100 examples. And this is my conclusion from it. Now, from all these examples, you derive your own rules, right? And your
yeah,
own
yeah,
algorithms or methods or whatever it is that you want to call them. Then I'll feed you fresh data. And I won't tell you anymore the rules or examples. On this fresh data, based on the rule that you have developed, You give me the analysis, conclusion, okay? The conclusion,
Yes.
okay? What is it? You give me that conclusion. And the advantage is that you can get analysis and conclusions like that, flash.
Yeah.
You can feed it human calculations or human analysis would take time, but you can just give it the information and say, okay, give me the conclusion. And because it's super fast, it gives you the conclusion. Now, what you're saying is that sometimes it can be wrong, and
Yeah.
you have to have some human check on it, at least at
Yeah.
the moment. And there's a very interesting point that you have made, which I think many people might be missing, and that the examples you teach come from the real world, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And if that data has certain characteristics of the real world, right, which you may like or may not like, then the rules will also reflect that data,
Yes.
that
Yes.
those characteristics. Okay. And if that data is in some sense distorted or skewed
Yeah.
or tainted, let us call it, then your rule will also be tainted,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we have to make sure that with what data have you taught this machine to make conclusions, right?
Yes. Yes. So there is very active branch of uh, very active branch of AI called ethical AI, where you should like in our society we have stereotypes or we have assumptions about different race, ethnicity, cultures, right? It's our responsibility to decide what to feed into that model, what kind of information we are giving to the model. Because when we train the model with a real world data, we know what kind of information that carries, right? And we should be really responsible while dealing with those models because model will only learn what we want them to learn. Model
Yes.
their learning derives from the algorithm and from the data, like you said.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So it's really a challenge that machine learning scientists are still facing with, like, the chat GPT, right? You must have seen that, right? You just change the race or religion and it gives you different output. So the output depends on how it was instructed and how it was trained. So there are multiple ways to train a model. There's one way where you train a model by rewarding them based on their output. You give them a task and you allow them to learn about those data, and based on the output they give you, you reward them. And machine learning, like humans, goes for maximum reward, right?
Yeah.
So how much you reward them based on their output can also affect their learning.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have that in mind, that we should not enforce our own stereotypes or our own presumptions uh, to the model.
Yeah.
And that's still a very active area of research where researchers are dealing with these problems. I mean, I can give you so many examples of that.
Just a second. Let
ChatGPT
me
is
put
example.
you on pause for a minute. Once. So we are back out of the pause. Alok was telling us about ethics and machine learning. So let's listen to him.
Yeah, as I was saying that we should really pay attention to what kind of data that we're feeding to the model and how are we training them, how are we rewarding the model for making a decision. So, like, uh, you must have heard of different LLM models, like large language models that we have today, Cloud AI, ChatGPT. Then one we have with Google, that Gemini, and they have been accused of following certain rules that favor certain races or gender or ethnicities or cultures. So it basically depends on how you train the model. So the people who are responsible for training them, the people who are deciding what kind of data we should feed to the model, uh, they have to make a really hard decision when you are building a model at such a large scale. So like you said, that our own societal rules are reflected uh, in the model and the decision that they make. So it's really the responsibility of data scientists and the people who are associated with those projects to make those decisions. And it's really funny that like 10-20 years back, it was government responsibility to enforce such rules. Like people who used to work for private agency or organization were not, like, they were not responsible for making those rules. But now models such as ChatGPT or different LLM models, they are so powerful and they are so influential. They can affect everyone's life, right? Everyone is using them. So it's really the responsibility of those organizations to amend those rules, to make sure that the data that are feeding to people are really does not carry those stereotypes of society. So I guess, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about large learning models. I'm not sure that I understand them. So perhaps.
So yeah, so you must have heard of ChatGPT. You must be using them, right?
Yeah.
You must be using Gemini. So these models have so many parameters. So when you train a machine learning model, there are two important features, two important factors. One is the size of your data. How much material are you using to teach a model? And the learning process, how rigorous that learning process is, right? If you have used data, like, you can have as many data as you want, but your model should be capable enough to feeding your architecture, or the algorithm should be capable enough to feeding that information to the model. So one, your architecture should be really powerful, and two, the model should have lots of data. If you have those two into combination, if you have the resources to train such a model, then you can train a large language model, right? So large language model are trained on, like, large data, all the data that we humans have put on internet. They
Yeah.
have used all kinds of data, video,
Yeah.
audio, images, everything, to train their models. And their models, now the models is parameters, right? So when I talk about teaching a model, how to teaching a model, so we have used parameters. Those are called weights. Weights are responsible for, so basically, what is machine learning? You have a data, you convert your data into numbers, and you have weights. You convert your weights into number. You have weights in numbers also. You do some mathematical convolution between these two and arrive at a conclusion.
Yes.
So a large language model would have billions of parameters. Such
Yeah.
parameters will be in billions. The basic machine learning model that we use, which are not large language model, could have like tens of thousands of parameters, millions of parameters at max. They uses 7 billion, 75 billion. They have like large parameters. And
Yeah.
those parameters can make all sorts of decisions. They can take images, videos, audios, and they can make decisions based on that. Right.
Yeah.
So those are large language models, and that we have like some ChatGPT or Gemini or Cloud AI.
Yeah.
You can ask them any question. Like, they have trained on all human information that was available on internet, right, till 2023 or till 2021. So they have seen all those things, right? And how they have seen those things, how they have conceived those information, depends on the people who are associated with that project, how they are feeding the information. But they have seen those information, and you can ask them any question related to those events, and they will have some idea about it. They might
Yeah.
be incorrect. They might not give you correct analysis, because the data that you fed them were somehow biased. But they'll have those ideas. And those machine learning models today are like changing the world. Like, people are talking about their job getting snatched, or new
Yeah.
jobs coming up.
Yeah.
Like, we have completely come up with a different kind of jobs in industry. We have like so many companies that are dealing with those models only. There's so many apps that are built on using those models as a base, and they've built added some layers on top of that and created a whole new app. So you can say that large language model, like, they have currently transformed the industry, all kind of industry, not just AI industry.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Uh, I know you can't tell us too much about what you do, but what is the overall idea behind the work that you are doing for the startup?
So yeah, we basically build AI solution for industry, AI products for industry. We work with Indian government, we work with private industry, and we build solution for them, right? So All kind of AI solution. It could be a vision-based solution where you have to analyze images and videos and give some conclusion. Like uh, you have images of forest fire, and your task is to build a model that could detect fires. Or your job could be build a model that could uh, uh, give you give you a score based on some event, right? Like you're driving a car. So what is the probability that you'll uh, uh, what's the probability current probability based on the car information, weather information, or information that you will be in an accident? What is
Yeah.
the likelihood of this? So we analyze all this kind of stuff. Like we get all the sort of data, and based on the project, we build the right AI module that should work for this kind of situation. So we basically build AI solution for businesses. That's what we do.
Is this an exciting job?
Your job is exciting because you could learn a lot of things, and basically machine learning is right now going through a lot of changes, right? You can every 1 or 2 years you get something that has completely changed that industry, right? Like nobody has seen something like this before. Every 2 years that is happening in AI, right? So okay, so till 2004 2015, the models were not smart enough to understand the context, right? Like you could teach them that like we have phrases in English, right? That uh, I killed today at this job interview, right? Machine model were not smart enough to understand that kill means I have literally like cleared that interview, I did really well.
Yes.
Or kill means killing someone. Machine learning were not smart enough. So we
Yes.
did some changes. We came up with some models that could understand the context that we use in the sentence, right?
Yes.
That was the case till 2015. In
Yeah.
2019, we come up with another way to understand the context that called attention method. Attention is what we use in transformers, and transformer is the reason why we have LLMs today. We have such a large language model. They can like uh, understand the context from a large paragraph. You have paragraph of 1 page, 2 page. Some they can extract context from them.
Yeah.
So in every 2 or 3 years, you get something in machine learning model that would machine learning field that would completely change the way you were working or you're solving problems. So it's like a fast learning career. You have to always be on your edge. You have to always like study or go through the things that have been going on. So it's exciting because you can create a product, you can see the result, and you get to learn a lot.
Is
Yeah,
all this behind the translations also, like English to Hindi or English or Hindi to Bengali trans? Is
yeah,
this machine learning behind it?
yeah. Basically, so you must have seen that the quality of translation have suddenly increased a lot,
Yes.
right? Earlier, we used to get transliteration, right? Like whatever you say in English, it will just literally translate those things. Now in Hindi, if you translate from English to Hindi, they would understand the context, right? Like you said that I killed today in the interview, they would understand that okay, you have done really well in that interview. So they understand the context, sir. So see, they what they do, like I used word kill, they would check the word around kill.
Yeah.
I say interview and I say I killed an interview, and I've also said in prior sentences that I'm going for interview. So they would understand all those things. They would understand the context, and they would understand the labels. While
Yeah.
we are feeding the data to the model,
Yeah.
I must have used similar sentences in similar context, and I
Yeah.
must have given a label to this,
Yeah.
right? So they would keep that in mind, and the quality of translation suddenly gone up, right? You have a model that could translate in multiple language, Hindi to English, Hindi to Chinese,
Yeah.
Mandarin, Hindi to Russian, all kind of
Yeah.
language, and
Uh,
they would understand the context really well. So
yeah.
yeah, when it comes to text-based analysis, whether it be translation or summarization or generating new story or creating jokes, like you can ask ChatGPT to create jokes, it will create a joke for you, right? So all those things have been completely like transformed because large language model, because they are capable enough to understand the context that we
Yeah.
human used to
Okay.
do.
Yeah. It's by the way, I'm thinking of using it. I would write in English. I wrote some books in English, and I never translated them into Hindi because finding a translator was
Yeah.
very difficult and slow. But this time, I'm writing a book. I will write a book, and I will use the translator. Do you have any experience of which is a good translator from English to Hindi?
Yeah, so sir, it generally depends on the field, right? Like let's say you are translating a legal text
No, I'm
or
doing
you
economics, basic economic
yes.
work.
So there are many translation models. Okay, so sir, there are many companies. what they do, they have trained a model, right? They have taught a model, a general thing, like you have a model that would be, we call it pre-trained model. So you have those pre-trained model on in the internet. Someone has trained them on a translation task, general translation task. Now you want to use those models for translating your book, which is in economics, to Hindi. So what we can do is, we have to make sure, right now model has seen all kind of text, right? It has seen legal text, it has seen sports news and everything. So model is not just thinking about economics, right? You can use economics term, and that terms has also been used in other contexts. The model might have some idea about those things too. So what we do is we fine tune the model. So all right, we have a model is taught, it is pretend, it has everything. Now we can expose those models to only economic based text, so that model now get to exposed to only economics based text, and model's parameters should be changed by a bit, and now you can use that model to translate your text into Hindi, English text into
Yes.
Hindi. So it's called task based model training, right? You have a general model that could translate any text into any language. Now you want to use that model for training your economics text or legal text. So you have to train them in such a way that doesn't take that much time. It takes basically 2 or 3 days, and you can have a model that could translate your economics text into Hindi. But yeah, again, you have to use a human in the loop to check whether the performance is correct or not, whether it's
Oh,
getting all those context right or not.
human is me. Okay, I understand Hindi
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well, but I just don't want
right.
to add. What I'm looking at right now basically is between the Microsoft Translator and the Google Translator. And what I find in the Google Translator is that you can only put a limited amount of.
Yes,
It's
yes,
too
yes,
small, to for a book. It's too small. But Microsoft has 50,000 characters at a time. Right. I'm going
yes.
to try both on 5,000 characters and see how it works. But it's really a
Uh,
development, I think, that I'm interested in.
I could suggest a model. So I could go through some pre-trained model, and I could send you some,
Yeah, that will be
and
very
you can
helpful.
try them.
That will be very
Yeah,
helpful because
yeah.
I'm quite serious that look, why should I, why should it only be, because my writing is very straightforward. Okay, so it's not jargon which you have to really know and translate, and hard to know what is the jargon in Hindi. So but I
Right.
wanted to reach many more people, my thinking. So it'll be really helpful if you can give me an idea. And minimal cost is minimal, even if you want to get a paid version of the Microsoft Translator. It's not very expensive compared
Yeah,
to the rate per word that human beings
yeah,
use to charge. And if there is
yeah,
some correction to be made, I can make it. I have to be
yeah.
happy with it myself. Okay, so I'm not translating into a language that I don't know. So that will be very helpful. Okay, where does India stand in all of this? Are we leaders? Are we creators? Are we followers? Are we good followers? Where do we stand?
So when it comes to the latest developments in AI, like I mentioned, LLMs, currently there are only 2 or 3 companies in India that are actually building LLMs, because it takes a lot of resources, right? Uh, I mean, a basic training, a creation of those models would take you at least 100 millions to $200 million.
Yeah,
So, and government cannot spend that much money on building large language model. The government cannot justify this, right?
yeah,
Uh, so someone from private industry has to step up and build those models. Right now, we have one Kritrim app, which is one of the subsidiary of Ola. They are building one large language model. They're working on it. They have already published their, I guess, beta version. So we have only 1 or 2 uh, companies in India that is currently working on it, because these models are not primarily profitable from the day one. So you have to spend a lots of resources on hiring good people. One of the another drawbacks or shortcomings of Indian IT industry is that we don't have good AI scientists. Right, most of the scientists, like who graduate from top Indian colleges, from IITs, they go to top US universities for PhD and stay there, work there as professor or researcher at different industry. So current like Indian industry lack a good AI researcher. That could be one of the shortcomings. And also we lack resources. We lack those amount of like we cannot spend 100 million or $200 million on a model that we don't know would be profitable or not, or how, or we are not sure of their performance. So right now we are still learning, right? We are still following those models, but a good thing about those models is that we can like there are many open source models. Open source model means those models are there on the internet. You can use them. You can use those pre-trained models, open source model. You can build some solution on top of it. That we are doing perfectly well. We have built so many apps using those LLMs.
Yeah.
So right now, I can say we are followers. We are good learners. We are good learners. We know how to use them. We understand their internal working, and we are using them really well. We're building a lot of solution commercial projects on top of those pre-trained models. But I guess in next 5 to 6 years you may see some more Indian companies stepping up and building those solutions, because someone has to do it, because uh, right now it's really hard to train such models, right? And we cannot allow only foreign companies to build those solutions for us. So I guess big companies who has lots of resources in terms of people and money, they should step up and build some large language model for India, because yeah,
Okay.
there
What is
there,
the
there are
role?
some developments.
Yeah. What is the role of academics in all this? Do we have the right academics?
Uh, so there are few good colleges in India, like top IITs, IIC Bangalore. We have some good professors there. They are doing perfect, great research on those fields, machine learning field or AI field. But the I guess when it comes to practical implementation of those projects, or the syllabus that you are teaching to students, their study materials, I guess they are not that updated. Uh, we are still lagging behind by say 4 or 5 years, right? Like I don't think like in current LLM models, diffusion uh, is a new concept that has been used a lot. I don't think any Indian university is currently teaching diffusion in this syllabus, right? There are many researchers who could be working on them, doing experiments. But still, when it comes to teaching the students, we're still lagging behind. But
So what
there
is
there are few
diffusion?
good colleges.
Can you tell me what is diffusion?
I'm also not sure. Like I haven't worked on that. It's
All
it's
right.
a it's a way to generate images, but it's a way to generate a new images, right? But
Mhm.
I've also not worked on it. It's a
Okay.
fairly new concept.
Okay.
It's a fairly new
But
concept.
overall, you are excited and happy, right? You've chosen the field
Yeah,
that is exciting. It's well paid, I'm sure.
yeah,
Long
yeah.
hours.
Yeah, it depends on the work that you're doing on the projects. When it comes to like when you're near the deadline, you have to stretch 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. But basically, it's comfortable. I'm comfortable that uh, I like maths a lot, and I can use my mathematical skills there. It's not just computer science; it's also maths. You have to understand. You have to read a lot of research paper. You have to understand the gist of the research papers, and so it's like a scientific project. It's like you are a scientist. You understand different research paper. You try to publish your own paper. You understand the gist of the paper. You come up with different approach to solve a problem, and and you can see the result, that how it has performed. Then you go back, update your understanding. So I guess that is exciting. And one of the good thing about computer science field, not just AI, that separates it from other engineering field, that you have lots of liberty to do your own experiment, because you need an internet, a good laptop, and you can write your own program and see the result, right?
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you're a mechanical engineer, you cannot do those experiments. You cannot just
No.
build a machine and see if it's working or not. So computer science gives you that liberty, that you can experiment a lot, you can learn a lot. And so that is true about AI also.
So you don't have to be in a lab.
No, you don't. You just need a good internet connection and a laptop, and that's it. That's all you need.
But good
And
internet connections are now in big cities in India not an issue, right?
no, not really not. Like even in villages, if you have like good geo connection, if geo works well, then
Yeah.
it's still you can still work on it.
Okay.
It still works. Like I'm from a tier 3 city, and when I work from home, I can do all those things, that I can connect to a server, I can perform experiments,
Yeah.
I can do all those things.
So
So yeah.
which is the tier 3 city?
So I'm from Jharkhand. You must have heard of it.
Yes,
In
yes.
Jharkhand, I'm from a city called Dhanbad. It's really a tier three city. Like we don't like 10 years back we didn't have good internet connections, or electricity was not that regular 10 years back. So we used to have those problems there. Many people are still like we don't have much job opportunities here. Many people migrate to big cities for job. They do odd jobs like all kinds of job.
Uh,
So yeah, we have many economic and constraints there. Like I can give you an example. Like 10 years back, we didn't have a Flipkart or Amazon service there. Like we didn't have those services. So those are fairly new there. But still, we have good internet connection there that I could go to my home and work from there.
is
And
it district
yeah.
headquarters or below district headquarters?
It's below district headquarters. So the district is Giridih and the town is Rajdanwar.
Okay, good. Long ago, one of my friends, his father was the member of parliament from Giridih in Lok Sabha,
Okay, really?
long back. I'm talking
Wow.
1967, 1970.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
heard of
So
Giridih from my friend who said, "Oh, my father is a member of parliament in the Lok Sabha from Giridih." So Giridih I know, but your town I don't know. Okay, anyway,
it's
anything
like,
else you want to add here?
yeah, about my background. You want to
No,
know about
whatever
the
you want
background?
to add, it's your choice. You tell me something you want to tell me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about my background and like how it is difficult for someone from my background to like
Yeah,
go to IITs and work there. So yeah, I guess education and quality of education is one of the big issues, right? Like you don't have good schools, so I have to go to another big city after my 10th for IIT JEE coaching.
yeah,
Uh, there I and yeah, there I got good education, and those things have been solved by good internet. I guess today you must have heard the current explosion in Indian education sector. Like we have good internet companies like an academy or physics wala. They sell their courses online, so you can get good education from village itself, right? So those are the new things that I'm really excited about. Like 10 years back, it was not possible for my cousins to get a good coaching for prepare for a JEE preparation, but now my nephews are preparing for JEE from like the Rajasthan itself because they can get good online education. So
yeah.
those things like I guess Geo or current uh, uh, our exposure to internet has changed, transformed so many things in India. So I'm really excited about those things.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Any tips you have for young people?
Uh, okay, my tips would be to get a good education. Like when you go to a good college like top NITs or IITs, then it completely change everything for you. The kind of opportunities that you get. Nobody cares about what you have done before then, which school you got, uh, which city are you from. Nobody cares about that. So if you're in 11th, 12th, a good thing would be to prepare for good colleges, right? You can go to a good law school or good fashion design school or good engineering school, good medical school. Try to get into a good school, and that could completely change things for you. Uh, that could give you a fresh perspective. You can make good connection. You will get good professors and good colleagues there, good friends there. So again, my only suggestion to young people would be who are still in school, who are still studying, is to study hard because it's all worth it. Like going to a great college can change things for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So thank you so much, Alok. It has been a pleasure to listen to you, the face of young India, modern India. You know, this is great to have people like you who are doing things. It's really very important because if we want to be modern, we have to do these things. And if we want
Yes. Yes.
progress, we have to have these things. Of course, we have to also look after small towns and rural areas, but we have to have both. We cannot simply say, look, this is all too strange. Actually, it's not strange. It's very useful and very important.
Yeah. So when was the last time you came back to India? Like
I
when?
was in India in February and March of this year.
Okay. Okay, so you have seen those changes, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was in India in February and March for more than a month. Okay.
right.
7th of February to 11th of March. So more than a month. But of course, it's a lot of time in family and not really looking at things. But you observe when you see what's happening around you
Yeah,
and all. So yes, I do see the changes and so on. And let's talk about that offline. Let's end it here now and
sure, sure.
say I will be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then. Bye, everybody.